What if I told you that everything you know about meditation is only part of the story? What if the key to other realities isn't in your mind, but in your body? Even more specifically, what if it's in one single bone, an ancient and sacred one, often ignored? A bone that cultures from the past honored without needing to speak, and one that you might not even notice. This isn't just another mystical tale, it's a revelation. We are going to dive into a powerful practice that has been forgotten over time. It's not about visualizing, imagining, or sitting in silence. It's about moving your body in a way that opens new pathways. Yes, pathways, because certain movements don't just stretch muscles, they wake up memories. The bone we are talking about was known by ancient cultures as the throne of the soul. It's located in your spine, but it's different from the rest of the bones. It's dense and strong, almost like a ceremonial stone. And at the same time, it holds a fire that never dies. The ancients didn't find this in books, they discovered it through dances, ritual walks, moments of silence under the moon, and ceremonies where they didn't just speak of the soul, they experienced it. In this first part, I will take you to the edge of this ancient knowledge. We will explore the mystery of this bone. I'll share how I found it, how I felt it awaken inside me, and why I believe that this small physical part of you can change your view of the world. True spirituality isn't about going up, it's about going down. It's not about lifting yourself out of the body, but about grounding yourself so deeply that the divide between worlds becomes almost invisible. That's what the ancients did. They didn't meditate. Instead, they moved this bone and stepped into other realms. You're about to learn what this bone is, why its movement is a hidden key, and how you can start experiencing it yourself. But before we go deeper, let's travel back in time to the roots, to caves, myths, and the bodies of wise individuals who danced without rules, letting their bodies, not their minds, guide them beyond what can be seen. Get ready. What you're about to hear isn't a modern technique, it's an ancient truth, a truth that has always been within you and is now ready to awaken. In ancient cultures, wisdom wasn't written down, it was passed on through the body. There was a sacred knowledge that began to fade when reason became the only authority. This knowledge didn't rely on words or rules, it lived in the body's memory, in the silent language of bones, gestures, and breath. Among all the parts of the body, one was seen as the most sacred, the sacral bone. And it's no accident that its name still carries the root sacro, which means sacred. This bone is found at the base of your spine, in the pelvis, and has a triangular shape. It connects you not just to the earth, but also to the sky. The ancients saw the sacrum as the anchor of vital energy, the place where consciousness could be awakened, not through thought, but through movement. And not just any movement, ritualistic, intentional, vibrational movement. In African traditions, wise elders, known as the walkers between worlds, performed spiral dances that activated the base of the spine. These dances weren't for artistic expression, they were meant to open internal portals. As the vibrations moved through, something happened. Energy began to rise like an ancient fire, awakening dormant perceptions. In Mesoamerica, the practice of Nahualism taught that certain repetitive movements, done with devotion, reactivated an original code within the body. Though they didn't use Western anatomical terms, these cultures understood that everything began at the base, at a point they considered the throne of the spirit. They didn't focus on asanas, they didn't seek silence, they moved the axis of the body. Even in Egypt, the art of resurrection wasn't merely a spiritual concept. Funeral rituals placed special emphasis on the spine and its base because they believed the soul returned through the Jed pillar, a symbol of life's axis, deeply connected to the sacrum and its vertical energy. What should remain upright was not the body, but consciousness. Later, in medieval occult traditions, alchemists referred to the sacrum as the crucible of the spirit within flesh. They said it held the serpent of remembrance, no demonic serpent, as later religious views suggested, but a symbol of primordial energy that, when awakened, gave vision, strength, and a direct connection to hidden realities. But why did we stop talking about it? If it was so important, why was it forgotten? Because the knowledge of the body as a temple was suppressed. Understanding that within you lies a natural mechanism to expand consciousness doesn't serve the systems of control. Because if you can access other realities without intermediaries, without dogmas, without structures, you are truly free. And the sacrum, that forgotten bone, holds the key to freedom from within. Moving it is not simply physical exercise, it's alchemy in motion. This is where spirituality becomes real, where technique transforms into ritual, and where the body, far from being a prison, reveals itself as the true portal. Imagine for a moment that your body is not just a biological structure, but a sacred architecture, a tool, not a container. Every joint, every bone, every vibration works like a cosmic gear. Now picture that within this architecture, there is a forgotten command center, a place where not just vital energy can be activated, but the ability to cross the boundary between the visible and the invisible. That place is the sacrum. Moving it consciously isn't gymnastics, it's a ritual act. Hidden wisdom teaches that the sacrum is like a vibrational key. When activated, it sends out a frequency that awakens dormant paths in the nervous system, stimulates areas of the brain that are normally inactive, and alters how we perceive reality. We're not talking about fantasy, but about expanded perception. Most people are trapped in the upper mind, thoughts, judgments, ideas. Some manage to drop into the heart, but very few have descended to the sacrum. And why descend? Because the movement of energy doesn't start in the mind, it starts at the root. The sacrum is the primordial drum. When it moves, it sets the rhythm for an energetic symphony that rises through the spine, flows through the chakras, and culminates at the crown. But here's the secret: if you don't activate the drum, there is no symphony. How does the sacrum move? It's not about shaking it harshly or following a rigid technique. The movement is circular, undulating, serpentine, like you're drawing invisible spirals in the air with your pelvis. Ancient dances understood this. The hips didn't move for sensuality, they moved for awakening. Every movement of the pelvis generates a pulse that directly impacts the sacrum. And when that pulse is sustained, rhythmic, and conscious, the bone begins to vibrate. This vibration isn't a physical tremor, it's subtler. It feels like an expansion from within, a gentle heat, a sense that something is beginning to stir deep within your being. This is when the body starts to remember. Not concepts, but the experience of being alive from the source. And it doesn't stop there. As you continue repeating the movement with devotion, not force, you start noticing changes in your breath, mental state, and the way you perceive space. Time begins to slow down, attention becomes effortlessly present, and eventually, if you persist, something even deeper happens. Reality starts to open up. People who practice this technique report that after just a few minutes of conscious sacrum movement, they begin to experience perceptions beyond the ordinary. Inner lights that aren't from the surroundings, subtle sounds emerging from within the skull, a sense of unity with everything, and in advanced cases, spontaneous visions, archetypal memories, or fleeting entrances into other dimensions of consciousness. It's not about controlling them. It's about vibrational access. The key point here is that you're not creating anything new, you're removing interference. You're activating a forgotten function. The sacrum is the sacred drum of the soul, and by moving it consciously, everything inside you begins to resonate. Once activated, the sacrum's vibration spreads throughout your body, leading to a state that ancient traditions called the threshold. This isn't a hypnotic trance or simple relaxation, but a profound shift in the perception field. In this state, the boundary between the internal and external, between the real and the symbolic, starts to blur. What opens here isn't just an energetic experience, a portal opens, and this portal doesn't lead beyond as popular religions describe, but to a simultaneous dimension, always present but hidden in ordinary consciousness. Those initiated in ancient schools of knowledge, whether priestesses of Isis, Toltec sages, or Druid mystics, understood that activating the sacrum wasn't a light matter. What awakens isn't just energy, but interdimensional memory. The body remembers things the mind can't process, places you haven't physically visited, knowledge you never studied, and archetypes emerging as living force. Many people describe encounters with beings of light, shifting symbols, living geometries, and even a sensation of being absorbed by a greater intelligence that communicates not with words but with presence. And in these moments, something radical happens. The sense of self begins to dissolve, not disappearing, but transforming. The usual you, the one with a name, a story, and an ego, becomes as small as a spark compared to the sun. In its place emerges the eternal observer, pure consciousness. But here's where wisdom is crucial. Moving the sacrum without preparation or grounding can open more than you can handle. The portal doesn't discriminate, and if there are unhealed wounds, toxic beliefs, or unconscious traumas, they too can awaken, not to punish you, but so you can confront them. This is why the ancients practiced silence. Power must be guided. That's why every activation should be accompanied by 3 fundamental principles. First, emotional grounding. You cannot ascend if you're not rooted in the earth. Before exploring other realities, ensure your body is a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Second, clear intention. The sacrum responds to intention. It's not a machine, it's a living altar. Moving it without awareness is like lighting a fire in the dark without knowing what you're seeking. Define your purpose. You seek clarity, healing, or vision. Be honest, and the portal will respond with the corresponding vibration. Third, ritual containment. The wise knew that every portal needs a framework. The space where you practice should be sacred, even if it's simple. Turn off distractions, create a circle of energy with your personal elements, stones, symbols, fire, and water. This container protects, amplifies, and organizes the energy activated. This technique is not just for spiritual seekers. It's for those ready to remember that the body isn't the prison of the soul but its access point. And the sacrum, that silent, firm bone, is the hinge of that door. When it moves with awareness, the soul doesn't travel, it returns. It returns to its origin, to its voice, to its inner knowledge. And you, who inhabit it, begin to see with eyes beyond the physical and hear the world behind the world. When you understand that your body is not just matter but a living temple, your whole relationship with it changes. What once seemed automatic, walking, sitting, breathing, starts to take on a deeper, almost ritualistic meaning. It's no longer about living to survive, but about inhabiting yourself with awareness, turning every gesture into a tool for awakening. And if you've come this far, if this knowledge resonates within you like a bell ringing, then the time has come to do more than just listen, practice. The movement of the sacrum is not just for initiates in caves or monks in seclusion. It's a tool you can bring into your daily life, as long as you do it with intention, respect, and consistency. Now, I'll share 5 practical ways you can incorporate this wisdom into your routine, without having to change your whole life, but allowing your life to shift from within. First, create a daily sacred moment. You don't need a long time, sometimes just 7 minutes upon waking up or before going to bed is enough. Find a quiet spot, stand or sit with your spine straight. Close your eyes and focus on the sacral bone. Breathe toward it. Then start making gentle, circular, undulating pelvic movements. Don't think about it, just feel it. This moment should become your personal sanctuary, a time to connect body and soul. Second, walk with sacred awareness. Imagine each step as a drum vibrating from your base. Walking can become a sacred practice if you bring attention to your sacrum. Feel how it moves with each step. Take it slow. Imagine you're drawing an invisible pattern on the ground. This simple practice turns walking into a portal of connection. Third, listen to tribal music and allow your body to respond. Certain rhythms, especially shamanic drums or ancient music, are made to awaken the body's intelligence. When you listen and allow the sacrum to move in harmony with these rhythms, without forcing it, without thinking, you align with an ancient frequency. Your body knows what to do if you let it. Fourth, integrate the movement before key moments in your day. Before speaking in public, having an important conversation, or making a tough decision, move your sacrum. Just 5 minutes of pelvic activation will bring you back to center, ease anxiety, and reconnect your instincts with your vision. It's a way of aligning your energy before taking any major action. Fifth, turn it into a moving meditation practice. Not everyone can meditate for an hour, and not everyone needs to, but everyone has a body. If you can't quiet your mind, start by moving your body. Let the sacrum guide your meditation. It's possible to enter deep states without staying still. Sometimes, moving is the best way to enter silence. Remember, your body is not a barrier to spiritual growth, it's the oldest, purest tool you have. The sacrum is its forgotten center, and by moving it with respect, you become a dancer between worlds. You don't need to isolate yourself or wait for a teacher. Your body is your teacher, your sacrum is the key, and your life is the temple. Now, we've come to the end of this journey, but in truth, we're only at the beginning. What you now know, this embodied wisdom, isn't built on ideas. It's about movement, presence, and living vibration. I haven't shared another theory or given you something to collect. What we've shared today is an act of remembrance, rescuing what was forgotten, not because it was secret, but because what's obvious is often the most easily overlooked. The sacrum has been with you from the start. It was the first bone formed in the womb. From it, the spine emerged, and from the spine, everything else. It is the base, the root, the sacred drum that sets the rhythm of your being. Many traditions have called it the throne of the soul because it is where consciousness rests when still. And it is from there that consciousness rises when it's ready to move. Do you remember the times you sought answers in books, courses, gurus, or complex techniques, and still, something felt missing? Maybe it wasn't information that was missing. It was the need to become the body, to inhabit your temple, to awaken the hidden door. That door isn't on some distant mountain or in a lost temple. It's within you, moving with you, waiting. You may feel doubts, your mind might try to explain everything, and a part of you may ask, is this real? To that part, simply say, observe, try, feel. The truth of the body doesn't need to be defended, it reveals itself through direct experience. Moving the sacrum with awareness doesn't just change your energy, it changes how you see the world. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and begin inhabiting. You stop fleeing from yourself and start meeting yourself. And that, my dear listener, is the true awakening. It's not about sudden illumination but about daily practice, moving, feeling, falling, returning, breathing, dancing. Until one day, without even realizing it, you're no longer searching for portals because you have become one. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others you know who are ready to remember. Every soul that wakes up helps awaken many others. In a world that's asleep, your movement can spark other memories. Thank you for walking this path with me. And always remember, your body is not the vehicle of the soul, it is the soul incarnated. And when it moves with devotion, reality itself begins to dance with you.